Hey there, gang. Welcome back to the First of the Worst podcast. I'm Brendan Murphy.
And I'm Steve Arendis.
And I believe that this is a first of the worst record. We once had someone professional give us feedback on this podcast. And one of the things they said was, don't be specific about date, place, or time. And every week within like the first 30 seconds, I'm very specific about date, place, and time, which is very irrelevant to the listener. But I will say this is probably the earliest we've ever recorded a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever done one in technically the morning.
No, this is the first AM podcast.
This is the first AM podcast in the history of First of the Worst. We're growing, guys. Someday will be a morning drive radio show. Fingers crossed.
We're not extreme enough for that yet.
No, we got to get a little more edgy.
Yeah.
So this week's list.
Yeah, this week's list. I just whipped keys at my wife.
You were doing some husbanding. It was funny because I could see this on video, and I could see him like doing the communication. Then you heard the keys.
Yeah, I didn't throw them at her as much as throw them to her.
It was a toss, not a chuck.
Yeah. So what we're doing this week is we're doing selfies. Types of selfies, locations of selfies, all of the above, kind of.
All of the above. Category. I mean, I kind of thought like the best places to take a selfie, and the genesis for this was that there's so many bad selfies, like offensive places. Last year, a girl took one at like several at Auschwitz, for instance. Yeah. Not good. An NBA player took one, I think, at the Holocaust Museum. I forget who it was, and then like the next day issued a very stern apology.
Was it Amari Stoudemire? No,
it was just like. It was like a random NBA player who like immediately issued. He wasn't like defiant. You know how sometimes people are like, "What did I do wrong?"
He was just like, "No, I messed up."
He's like, "Oh, my bad. That was insensitive."
Yeah,
and that's the way. By the way, that's how you quash a story.
You just like, oh. "I messed up. I'm sorry,"
and people are like, "Okay."
People mess up, right?
It's when you don't do that you become a dick.
Yeah, so I had kind of trouble with this, and I'm not gonna lie, I whipped this list together pretty fast. I didn't go. Our lists are gonna be probably very different because I didn't go as much like locations as like types of selfies, which will be good because we'll get a little variety here.
Okay. And by the way, that was Danny Green at the Holocaust Museum in Berlin.
Okay, Danny Green.
And the caption was, I had to do it one time. LOL. #Holocaust.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
And it looks like there's some sort of sculpture representing all the victims, as there's like a lot of
throwing an LOL in there and #Holocaust is really more
Holocaust. Is it bad that this makes me want to like go and like see who had like #search Holocaust on Instagram and Twitter though? Does that make me a bad person or just a curious person?
No, it doesn't make you a bad person at all. I just think it's almost like the hashtag and like what he wrote is worse than actually taking the selfie.
Yeah, the selfie itself. I mean, like he has
as long as you're not like making a goofy face or something.
He has like kind of a somber look on his face.
Yeah, like if that was all it was, and I've been like, I don't know. I think you could get away with it if you like.
If he was like, never forget this great tragedy.
Yeah, or something like that, then right? Like
yeah. I think Auschwitz is probably harder to sell.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's start it up. Ours is gonna be. I think they're gonna be a little different, but it can be good. It'll lead into some different discussing points. All right, so start with your number 10.
My number 10 is, and mine are generally very location based.
Okay,
it's my favorite place to be alone and with a partner. And I guess you could do a post-coital. Although I don't know that I've ever had a partner who would allow such a thing.
You do it when they're asleep.
Not creepy. I already have a hard enough time holding down a relationship.
So
Steve.
Bed, you're saying?
Bed, yeah, bed.
That's the move. Like that's a move that I see. You see like groupies do with like NBA players. I feel like James Harden's been got multiple times on that.
Yeah, and it technically wasn't a selfie. This is like a little before, like a selfie existed, but it's a little before it became kind of part of the lexicon. Was when the Hawks won their first Stanley Cup. Like 2 or 3 days later, there was a girl who slept with Patrick Kane, and so her friends would believe her. She went into his wallet and took out a boarding pass on Southwest that said Patrick Kane.
Oh God!
Put it with him as he was passed out in his face. and took a picture.
This happens with celebrities. I think like women do. Like I think what's the Julian Edelman had one after the Super Bowl this year. Somebody got him. Bieber got one from like a hooker in Brazil.
Oh, Bieber.
Yeah.
You know, he tried to do this whole image rehabilitation thing.
Yeah.
It started with the roast.
Yeah, he's doing all right. He hasn't gotten in real trouble in a while, has he?
I saw a clip of him on the Today Show after one of his performances, and he just was like screaming at the producers because because they only had one camera. He's like, "Why am I even dancing? Y'all not gonna cover my dancing." And do you think like Drake or someone, or like maybe someone a little more hardcore than Drake, like ASAP Rocky, ever wants to come up to him and punch him in the face and be like, "You're from Canada. Stop it."
Like, I think
stop it.
Yeah, it doesn't work for Drake because he's from Canada.
Drake was like one guy, yeah, and also Drake's not like a hardcore kind of like from the streets type.
He was on Degrassi.
Yeah, he was on Degrassi. Drake was not my. I had to go a little deeper than that.
All right, I'll get to my number 10, which is my number 10 because it's illegal, I think, and that's like in the car, like the driving the car.
That's a good one.
Which I think it's against the law. I'm pretty sure, right, in most states.
Here's the thing: I bet it's not technically against the law yet, but then when some dumbass crashes into a minivan because he was taking a selfie.
And it's like a video selfie of him like singing a song on the radio. And it's like, there's a person I know on Facebook. And if you're listening to this, I'm not going to give your name out. I don't think you do though. And he posts songs of himself singing in the car driving around.
Well, that is kind of funny. In fairness. Very dangerous.
It's dangerous. I like to think he's like stopped at stoplights a lot, but I don't know. But that's why it's 10, because it's illegal. My next one, number 9, is one I don't think I will ever do, and there's like different variants of this one, and it's at the gym.
Ooh.
So like sometimes this like somebody like after a run, they'll be like, "Good workout" or whatever. So here's the problem with selfies. Selfies are just like trolling for like approval from people, right? Like that's like the big why they suck.
I mean, I think social media on the whole is that, but the selfie is the greatest symptom, right?
Yeah, it's like the pinnacle, right?
Yeah, and that's a good point. We usually go into why they suck. With selfies, it's like pretty much you don't really need to go into it.
So like the gym one, there's 2 things you could be trolling for. One, you could be trolling for the good job, like way to get out there and do it. And that's like the sweaty face after a run, or like the sweaty face after a workout. But then there's the one where it's like the girl in her like expensive Lululemon shit, like in front of like the full length mirror at the gym, like posing. And then she's also she's looking for like the "you look fucking hot" or whatever from like Creepo guys. And
yeah. She's like, that girl aspires to be one of the girls on Instagram who gets famous for being hot on Instagram.
Her just working out on Instagram, yeah. And for those girls, I feel like that's fine because it kind of became their job.
That's a fair point. Like you could be a professional hot person now.
Yeah.
So
not even a model.
And
really.
not even a model. What they do is then they call themselves an Instagram model, but you're like,
And they have like a thing in their profile for like bookings or something.
I mean, like it's Instagram model, like the best thing that's gonna happen to you. So it's gonna be like, go serve tequila shots for my company.
I always wonder like how much they get paid when it's like super protein boost, that it's like post workout and it's like picture of them like drinking it or something. There's guys like that too on Instagram. It's not just girls.
I would guess the market is probably more lucrative for a woman.
Oh, absolutely. But there's guys that do it too. All right. What's your number 9?
My number 9. This is probably my lamest one. I mean, it was hard. This was not as easy a list as I thought.
No.
At a national park, I guess.
I didn't put that. So I kind of lumped some of those into one giant one. But like, so like the national park selfie, so like Grand Canyon. I think I have a Grand Canyon selfie somewhere.
Glacier National Park seems like a cool one because you're with a glacier.
I actually don't think I have a Grand Canyon selfie. I think I just got somebody to take a picture.
So I don't know if I've ever actually been to a national park now that I think about it. Because like I've been to state parks, which are definitely like Walmart to national parks being like Nordstrom's.
Yeah, I don't know, like what if some of them are like national,
Like I haven't been to Yosemite or
yeah, I don't know which ones are which.
Yellowstone or
But you've been like the Indiana Dunes, which is like a state
yes,
park.
yeah, and like many in Minnesota on the Crow Wing River, which
Yeah,
just sounds bogus.
yeah. Yeah, that's not as cool.
The Crow
State Park selfie didn't make the list.
State Park selfie not on the list.
So what's your number 8?
So I put during a wedding ceremony, but now I would just like to say generally in the process of any religious sacrament.
Oh, that'd be a great one. Like
Preferably with the clergyman.
Communion selfie.
Like the body and blood of Christ. Hashtag you are what you eat. Call me Jesus.
Yeah, any religious ceremony, I think.
Any religious ceremony. I just had this great vision, and I couldn't even find it online, of like a bride and a groom and a priest in a selfie. Like at the altar, not at the wet reception.
Bro.
I would love that so much.
I've seen it happen. I don't think it wasn't a religious wedding.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I mean, Mac married my friends. I'm sure they could have taken a billion selfies.
It was, but it was definitely the bride and groom took a selfie. I don't think the person doing the wedding was in it, of like them with everybody behind them. 100% have seen it.
He's like a sacred.
He's like a social media coordinator, like, or something is his job, which seems like a fake job to me, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like a fake job. Although, like as a journalist, I feel like that's like my best prospect to have jobs going forward. So I probably shouldn't make fun of it too much because words are going away.
Yeah, you only get 140 letters.
You only get 140 letters. Yeah. So,
was that your number 8?
That was my number 8.
All right, my number 8 is probably one of the bigger sympathy trolls you could do, which is the hospital selfie.
Oh yeah,
with like you got your IV. Like, I know somebody who, like, I never figured out why she went to the hospital, and like part of me thinks it was for plastic surgery, but like I can't, like, I don't know, so I can't really say anything.
Don't you just want to put "Why are you in the hospital" as the comment though?
Yeah, I mean, like, because everybody's like, "Oh, feel better," but like nobody knows. So, I mean, I'm sure some people know, right? But like the vast majority of those people, and then it's like people are like liking the picture of you like in a hospital, which doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I mean that is an awkward follow up. It's also like if someone passes away, you always want to ask how they died, but it's kind of inappropriate to ask, right?
Yeah, like how did it happen or whatever.
Yeah, like
so the trick there to ask how somebody died was to ask if it was like unexpected or right, and that's like the loophole, because you're like, oh, okay, like you're like,
but if
like, yeah, it was unexpected. He got hit by a car. Like,
but if they're like 40, then it was unexpected, and you don't know if they like autoerotic asphyxiated themselves or like, got shot.
For sure. All right, so my number 7 is kind of one of my favorites, though it's horrible. But so like I had a tough time. It's my favorite when I see people do it because it's ridiculous. It's maybe one of the most ridiculous selfies. And it's one of the few where you're actually not taking the picture back at yourself. And it's the bathroom in the mirror selfie.
This is the most common selfie, I would guess.
I mean, is it?
If there was a census of selfies in existence, I think this is the China.
This is probably India. Like one that was like before, like they had the thing on the camera, right? Like
you're right.
This is like people were doing this with like actual cameras at some point in their life. It's the original, probably. Selfie.
I mean, this is like the original sex. Was this too?
Yeah, mirror. Yeah, for sure, and it's always creepy.
So in the research,
it's always if it's a guy, it's always a guy in like sweat. If they're not naked, it's always like a guy in sweatpants and like no shirt.
Yeah, I mean that guy just doesn't wear a shirt a lot.
And the girl is like and if it's like the female version is like kind of in the process of getting ready to go out.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
And I mean, generally, and you know that because they're wearing their like best pair of undergarments.
Yeah, or like really slutty like club clothes or something.
Yeah. They're not wearing like the old high fidelity trick is that the old high fidelity line, a movie you probably hate, about how women only wear their hottest undergarments on the nights they know they're gonna have sex.
Yeah. What is that's from?
That's from Life, is what it's from, but it's mentioned in High Fidelity.
The movie I would point that to is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Okay, I mean it's just both great films.
When like the one girl like looks through her sister's underwear drawer and she has black underwear and she was like, oh, that's because like or whatever. Like she had like specific black underwear. She's like, oh, you don't just have that underwear. Great Heath Ledger movie. Top 3.
Is
Top
that
3
one based on some sort of
Yes. Much Ado About Nothing, maybe?
Much Ado About Nothing?
No, Taming of the Shrew.
Taming of the Shrew, okay.
That's what it's based off of.
I feel like that's what someone who hated writing that movie and wanted to like still keep their career legitimate did retrospectively.
I don't know that movie. I like that movie.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
Of that like era of like teen high school comedy, it's one of the better ones.
We did a podcast on those, right? Or was that just?
No, that might have been pre-podcast.
It might have been pre-podcast. We might have to go back to the well on that one. I think
there was
a
couple things that we did pre-podcast that I feel like we should do, like boy bands.
Boy bands is a great one. I liked bars on Clark Street, although we did do 4 a.m. bars, so that was
kind of close.
That kind of encompassed it to some extent.
I think we did boy band songs off of the podcast, so if we could just do actual boy bands would be tough and get down to like the lower levels there. Yeah. So what is your number 7?
My number 7 is on a boat. Also, I'm envious. I talk about boats a lot on the podcast because I would love one.
Boat life's a good life.
I idolize the Kennedys, and I don't have that much in common with them, if anything.
So you have like a house up north in Door County. There's no boat situation up there?
There is.
When I say you, I mean your family. Let's not.
Yeah, it's not me. But we're not on the water. We're like a couple miles from the water, and then you would need a slip and all that stuff, and we're not there enough to make that worth it. Also, we're not rich enough to have like a cool ass boat. We could have like my sister had a Sunfish for years, which is, I mean, it is actually pretty cool, but that's not a boat life boat.
Yeah, there's different kinds of boat life. Well, it depends like what kind of lake you're on, right? Like, so that's like on what, Lake Michigan? Or like the harbor, or like isn't there like a big bay up there too?
Green Bay. It's on Green Bay. I mean, there's
you need like a pretty serious boat.
Yeah, and I mean, I want like something that I the idea of sailing is awesome, and I have done it on smaller lakes, but like I want a yacht. I think maybe I don't know if there's a certain square footage that makes it a yacht, but something that would be yachtish.
Speaking of sailing, shout out to my buddy Jason Berta who just landed in Brazil. He sailed from England to London to Rio.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, he had never sailed before, and then he like joined this thing and like did a couple training things, and he sailed in this like sailboat race from like London to Rio.
Did you know the World Cup of Sailing is coming to Chicago?
Really? Is that
it's different than the America's Cup? No, because we've rigged the America's Cup, so America will only win it now.
Well, no, it's the America's Cup's awesomely rigged. The whole point of it is to rig it.
Yeah, so then if you win, you get to pick the rules, right?
You make as soon as I wanted to make a fantasy football league that was America's Cup style.
Okay. This is my fantasy football league. The commissioner just makes the rules to tailor his team winning it every year. He doesn't even necessarily win it, although he tends to win it. They sent out an email that said new rules, and a guy in our league responded. And he just goes, "I just want to make sure the same rule applies, and that's that Glenn gets to change all the rules to make sure he wins every year." And Glenn got kind of pissed and kind of laughed, but it was just the truth.
America's Cup fantasy football.
It's like the Koch brothers in politics. Just write the rules because you're winning.
They're kind of winning. They can never win the big one, though.
But haven't they won?
Kind of. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know how much money, but I don't know. Is it winning if you spend this much money on an election and don't win?
I mean, here would be one of the funny things of Trump winning the Republican nomination is that they gave Jeb Bush $1 billion.
They gave Marco Rubio a lot of money too, and they gave a lot of those guys a lot of money.
And I'm not like
Trump and not Trump.
Okay, you have to say I'm definitely not on board because I think he's an idiot. But it is pretty nice to have a politician who needs to take zero money.
Yeah, it's awesome. I feel like that's a lot of his support. Is people are just like, yeah, this guy's just doing whatever. I also don't you feel like he just like ran at first for like publicity?
Oh, definitely. Didn't he run last time and it was
for like publicity? Yeah, and he got like and then like all of a sudden he was like doing good. He's like, oh shit, I gotta keep doing this.
Okay, so I saw an interview with him on 60 Minutes on Sunday, and it was like the most reined in version of Donald Trump I've ever seen. And it made me realize like he's actually gonna give this a shot.
Yeah, like he got to the point now where he's like, but somebody was saying like that might be what cost him the election is that he's actually gonna get serious about it.
Like the whole thing about deporting all the Mexicans, that was just like PR, like, you know, like get in front of people time. Now it's like, well, they're great people. Let me say that first. I'm like, do you really think that? Because I swear you called them all rapists and murderers like not that long ago.
Oh man, he had his like whole bluster thing where he just like wouldn't go back on anything he said, but now he's gonna start going back on things. I feel like.
Oh, he had a great quote on Colbert. I sound like a Trump fan right now, but
I'm a fan of his in a way, not in the I want him to be president way, but that I want him to be in politics and in front of me way.
Well, I like what he represents to some extent, and that he could just do it all himself. Like now, I'm like, well, maybe Warren Buffett, who's not an idiot, should run for president and take no money from anyone. Like that doesn't sound like the craziest idea to me.
Well, like I don't know.
Also, he's on my team, so I like him.
Oh yeah, Bill Gates is probably on your team too, right? He doesn't need money.
I mean, he sponsored. He basically funds NPR. I can't imagine he'd be on the other team.
I just like my favorite thing about all of politics and it's like people's posts on Facebook is just like, and you get it from, well, it's weird because I don't see the Republican people doing it because they don't know who to support yet. But like I see it with Bernie Sanders people who I generally like Bernie Sanders, but like he's just throwing out a bunch of shit that he can't do.
I feel like anyone who supports Bernie Sanders also acknowledges that he can't be president, right? I mean, like I'm gonna vote for him, but I don't think he will win.
I don't know. I don't think so anymore. I think people think he can win. And it's like he's just saying all this shit, which like is all great in theory, but like you'll never be able to be like college is free. Good, go for it, buddy.
Like, we couldn't even make ER visits free.
Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump are both running for president like they are running for student council president. They're just saying shit that people want to hear, and there's no way they can provide it.
This reminds me of one of the great election lies I've heard in my life, and it was for I guess student body president at Mizzou. Is that what they called it? We didn't know what they called student council. Yeah, I mean, and the guy we had this service called Stripes, which was a nonprofit that would pick you up on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays and take you from the bar to your house so you didn't drunk drive. It was generally understaffed and underfunded. And this guy goes, if I'm elected, I will make Stripes available every night of the week.
That's like Bernie Sanders being like, nobody's paying for college, refunding all of your student loans. And Trump's like, just sending all the Mexicans home, building a wall. We're going to do all of this.
Oh, the other thing is that Trump's like, and the wall will be one of the great American public works projects.
It's
built
great.
by illegal immigrants, I'm sure.
They're just throwing things out there that like sound great, but there's no real plan. There's no real. It's awesome. So I don't even know where we are right now. What was the last one you did?
I did On a Boat. We got in the boat life, and then we got into the Kennedys, and then I don't really know how we got to Trump. But we did. And by the way, the First of the Worst has not offered an official endorsement on a candidate. That will be coming later in the process.
Time out. Our whole connection fuzzed out, but now we're back. So basically right when I asked you where we were.
We went through some politics and some boats, and now we're back. And by the way, I would like to say the First of the Worst has not offered an official presidential endorsement. I speaking for myself here, that's going to come later in the process.
Yeah, I need
some
more
serious
things
vetting.
to play out. I need some more things to play out before we officially endorse it, and we could send it to Nate Silver, and he could put it on his 538 endorsement list,
which no one sees because ESPN has buried it.
So wait, what number are we on here?
I think I'm on 6.
What was the last one you did?
A boat.
A boat, and what number was that?
7.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you're on 6. Okay.
I said anywhere with the Kardashian or Taylor Swift.
I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Maybe it should have been higher.
I don't know. The selfie, we'll talk about this later when I get to one of mine, but it's kind of become the new autograph.
I would like to. It totally has. That's a great point. I would like to point out that this is a really strange thing for me because you know that I dislike Taylor Swift pretty aggressively.
Oh, we haven't talked about this.
Okay, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, 1989, right?
Yeah, Ryan Adams recording the whole album of Taylor
So what
Swift.
is your? I want your full 1 to 5 mics. Yeah, we're doing this like it's the source in a rap album. What?
I'm giving it a. Okay.
5 mics is the.
I will say he everything is rearranged musically, so it sounds like a totally different album.
I listened to it.
It sounds like a Ryan Adams record with like some cheesy ass pop lines in it.
Here's the thing. Here's my opinion as a non-Ryan Adams fan. Not that I don't dislike Ryan Adams, but I don't dislike either of them. They're both fine. It's not as good as the original because
obviously I'm going to go the other way on that one.
It's not. Here's the problem for me. It's because I've like heard a lot of these songs, you know, like on the radio. He kind of comes off as the guy who plays acoustic guitar at like a college party late at night, like playing acoustic versions of pop songs.
Okay, that's definitely the case on Bad Blood. Bad Blood is not.
Yeah, Bad Blood is not good. Bad Blood is just like guy like stoned in the corner, like trying to woo girls with an acoustic guitar.
I will say that style is awesome. His style, it's.
Well, that's the best Taylor Swift song ever too, though. So, as far as I'm concerned,
okay,
what do we do? Taylor Swift songs. Style's my number 1.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, style on that record is awesome. Like, he was on the Daily Show the other night, and Trevor Noah, who, by the way, I'm enjoying. I
haven't watched it.
Trevor Noah interviewed him. He's like, "This is selling so well. You're on I know it's doing very well on the charts." And that made me a little sad because this is maybe Ryan Adams' 20th record he's released.
Yeah, he just pumps out music,
and this will definitely outsell all of them.
Yeah, because all the Taylor Swift fans are probably buying it.
Yeah,
not all of them, but a lot.
I also guarantee. Well, he's such a dick that maybe I can't guarantee it, but like a Grammy crossover where they play together seems inevitable, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, something like that for sure. Didn't he do this with another album that like is rumored in theory, but like never was released? That like he has somewhere supposedly. I was reading about it.
He has so many unreleased albums and EPs that Grant was able to release an album of the 10 best unreleased Ryan Adams albums.
He's like R. Kelly.
Yeah. But I don't remember his most famous, like probably radio traction song was covering Oasis.
Yeah.
But we are off the rails today.
That's fine.
But I did want to bring that up because
it was like a week of hot musical collaborations with like the Big Boy and Fantagram and Ryan Adams, and I guess that's kind of a collaboration, Ryan Adams and Taylor Swift, right?
They will surely collaborate. And part of me wants to think that he's doing this just to sleep with her, which is like so justifies it to me.
What would you do if they became a thing?
Well, he was dating Mandy Moore, who was like Bubblegum Princess, and they were married for many years, actually.
Yeah, back in the day.
I mean, they just got divorced within like past 6 months. Yeah. I think I'd be fine with it. He's like on the spectrum. He's so weird. He was on the cover. He's been on the cover of Pinball Monthly more than he's been on the cover of Rolling Stone or Spin. So,
all right,
that tells you where Ryan Adams is at. All right, so you're up.
I'm on number 6. And this is a type. It's a terrible one, but this is a classic thing that happens in selfies, and it's the duck face selfie. You combine this with other selfies, and I feel like it's not as big anymore because people make fun of it, of making that duck face. But there was a time when like every girl taking a selfie was making a duck face, and I don't really know why. Which is just like a kiss face.
Also, like lips are. I find lips to be a strange body part. When people just pump up their lips to the point that there's like 50% of their face, it's so unattractive.
Talking about, was that a personal shot at Kylie Jenner?
It's just an LA thing, I think. I saw two girls walking down like Armitage last week who looked like they were in from LA, and their lips were humongous.
There's a balance there, right? That you got to hit.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good look. So yeah, so that's just a one-off on the duck face. Duck face, no good.
All right, and then my next number 5, which I'm sure has had duck faces involved in it many times, and this is drunk at the bar or drunk anywhere. The at the bar selfie in the club, wherever.
That to me is the saddest one, because like, shouldn't you have lots of people with you, not just be alone or with one other person?
Speaking of that, did you see the Bob Brenly going nuts at that Diamondbacks game the other day? Because there was like this Alpha Chi sorority where like all sitting close, and they were showing him on camera, and like every single girl there was just taking selfies.
What? I didn't hear it. Was he displeased, or was he like?
Oh, he was like it was like the worst like old man rant ever. He's like, "You're at the game. You should be respecting baseball."
You're at game 156.
Oh, that's the game that season.
Who surely don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, and then like the team apologized and like sent this thing to like Alpha Chi or whatever, and they were
those girls are probably terrible. So I wish.
But they like played it like the best play of all time. They sent this thing where like they were sorry, you can come to another. We'll invite you to another game, and they were like blah blah blah. Now that everybody's gonna see this, they just made this big post about like everybody seeing this should just donate to like the battered women's fund.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was like the best thing a fraternity or sorority has done in the last 80 years.
I mean, at Mizzou, sororities and fraternities were just blunder incubators.
Yeah.
So that to me just astounds me.
Yeah, I don't know what school it was at, but like, yeah, it was like the best thing.
I just assumed it was like ASU, which is why it can't be. That's way too smart for ASU.
Maybe it was Arizona.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when a girl says she's stripping her way through college, Arizona State is that college. That is Bill Maher's joke, but I love it so much.
All right, what's your number 5?
In space.
Oh yeah, that's a relative. There's been a few of those, right?
I mean, obviously, it is a relatively new phenomenon, as not that many people get to go. But maybe now that Richard Branson has the spaceship, we can all go.
I don't know. Doesn't that ship keep like not doing well in the test runs?
Sometimes I wonder how Richard Branson's rich. Because everything is pretty gimmicky.
Well, Virgin, right?
Virgin Air, but like
music
still. Oh, Virgin Records,
hotel, Virgin everything, right? Virgin Mobile.
Oh, okay, well, Virgin Record stores went out of business.
Yeah, but it's a record label too, right?
It's a record label, so that probably kills.
It's probably bigger in Europe or something too. I don't.
Yeah, Virgin Hotels is new, right?
Yeah, that's new. But I don't know. Yeah, he's always doing like crazy stuff. He's like the less interesting Elon Musk, who's also like in the space. Elon Musk is SpaceX, right? And they're the ones having problems landing the thing.
Oh, well, Elon Musk is way smarter than Richard Branson, right?
Oh, he's like
Elon Musk like creates the shit. Like Richard
also
Branson's
like Elon Musk is our big miss at having like a real life supervillain, right? Well, that would like live in like a lair somewhere that he like invented like a death laser.
I mean, he did invent a $106,000 car that's like, you should buy it.
That new one?
Yeah. Although apparently they're coming out with a new one that's going to be like $40K.
They're trying to, yeah.
The Tesla.
Yeah, the new one where it's like kind of like an SUV and it has like doors that open like the wing doors. And the back doors like open like wings. Did you watch what was that show? We don't want doors that open like this, side to side. I'm a billionaire. I need doors that open like this. I don't want to drive a car with doors that open normally.
Was that from Silicon Valley?
Yeah.
The guy who looked just like Jim Rome.
The 3 Comma Club.
The 3 Comma Club.
He was also the guy who played the cameraman who had a fling with who kind of had a thing for Pam on The Office at the end of The Office.
Oh yeah, he was.
When The Office broke the fourth wall, the fake fourth wall. But yeah. When Pam and Jim were on the rocks. So what number are we on here?
I'm on number 4.
Yeah.
And this is a trip I've always wanted to do. It's a really expensive one, as I learned when we were both working in the travel industry. A safari is something that's cool. So I would say a jungle selfie.
Oh, jungle selfie with yeah.
As long as it's not with a dead lion that you killed.
No, you could do it before you kill it.
Bad for business.
Especially if you're a dentist.
Yeah. Another point that I think this was Bill Maher's point being like, what world do we live in where dentists can afford to go on like $200,000 safaris?
He's a good dentist.
The best ever. That's insane.
It is. Yeah, safaris are not cheap. It's like the most expensive.
No, I mean, and like his like big game hunting safari, like that's like an incredibly expensive thing to do.
Yeah, I'm sure that's like one of the more expensive vacations you can go on.
But jungle selfie. Hopefully, I mean, some of these I'll never get to take.
You could pull off a jungle selfie, maybe not the safari selfie, but you could pull off a jungle selfie.
I mean, I think in the next 50 years, I could possibly do a safari. I mean, if I'm ranking the ones that I probably won't be able to do, space and with a Swift or a Kardashian is not looking great.
Yeah, I don't know. The Kardashians are multiplying so fast that, like, I don't know, there'll be enough around.
Maybe I can get a bogus one.
Yeah, you could get, like, I don't know.
Like Mason when he's, like, 22 and just out of rehab.
Yeah, Rob maybe just right now.
Yeah, Rob.
I don't know. If you were in LA, I feel like you could bump into a Kardashian selfie. If you guys
so we won't rule that out. You're up.
All right, my number 4 is one that actually doesn't involve your face, but I think I'm still considering it a selfie because it's only a picture of yourself, and it's the feet and legs at the pool/beach selfie.
Oh, I like, yeah. It's like my day's better than yours.
Look where I am. Get jealous. I'm just chilling. And those might be hot dogs and not my legs in the picture. That's a great Tumblr. It was like hot dogs or legs at the pool. And like they put like people like put hot dogs and you can't tell. If it's like the girl has like her knees, it looks like hot dogs. It's great. All right. My number 3 is I call this one group in quotes. So this is like it could be taken anywhere, but it's like when somebody does like the big group selfie with everybody behind them, but this selfie is not really about the group. It's clearly just about the person taking the selfie as they're like the center of it, and they just like want to show that there's other people around having a great time, but they're the center of attention. So it's the group selfie.
Or a groupie.
Yeah, groupie. Yeah, the group selfie.
Most famously, it's the Ellen DeGeneres one at the Academy Awards a few years back.
Yeah, who the best guy in that selfie was like Lupita Nyong'o's brother, who just like slipped into it. He just like, yeah, I'm getting in this. I don't care. He's like, nobody knows who I am. It was great. What's your number 3?
This is one that you recently had the opportunity to do. I don't know if your wife would have permitted it. The labor selfie.
No, I don't think we had a labor selfie.
I think it's pretty baller.
Yeah, it was more of a surgery type situation for us, so it was a little different.
Okay, so actually you probably did not have the opportunity to do that.
I could have done it. 100%.
That'd also be a sleeping selfie, actually, because Jess would have probably not been awake.
No, she was awake.
Oh, it was one of those things where you're awake, but you can't
like
feel
numbed.
anything.
Yeah, they're awake. Yeah, labor selfie. Yeah, labor selfie is better is like the one after, but there's always enough people around in that situation to take the picture for you.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it would have to be the husband.
Yeah, it's the husband taking the picture down of like both of you.
Yeah, I mean, the wife is obviously exhausted.
busy, exhausted. I don't know. Yeah. What's your number 2?
On the field after a major sporting event selfie.
Oh, like is this for players or people who like storm the field? Either
I
one.
could go either way, but it's obviously cooler if you're not supposed to be there.
The greatest not supposed to be there picture is Matt Malmstrom, if you're listening, when you dressed up as Brett Bielema and just walked into the locker room and got your picture, walked onto the field, walked into the locker room, and just nobody said anything, took your picture with the Big Ten championship trophy when it was with Wisconsin. It was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever witnessed on Facebook.
I've heard this story before, and I think it's amazing.
Here's a picture, just like him in the locker room with the Big Ten championship trophy.
Okay, so give our how much does he resemble Bielema?
He resembles like a way better he resembles like the ideal that Bielema wishes he could be. I feel like
if he like quit drinking,
yeah, and was like lost some weight,
jogged.
Well, like, and also Bielema wasn't as big, I feel like, before.
I think Bielema's a partier. That's his reputation, at least.
Yeah. The best part is that, so like his costume, his outfit was, he's kind of dressed like him. He wore like the same kind of jacket he wore and like khakis or whatever. But like, and he had like a play card in his hand. And the play card, if you looked at it, I think it just said Monty Ball left, Monty Ball right. Like everything over and over again. But his headset was one of those inflatable Motorola headsets you got from like going to like an NFL game. It was just like a fake inflatable headset he was wearing. He was walking around, and like security guards were just letting him walk past. It's amazing. And then like he later met Bielema when he was like wearing that outfit, and Bielema was like, "You're gonna get me in trouble at some point." Like Bielema can't get himself in trouble.
Yeah, the guy who met his wife at a blackjack table in Vegas.
All right, am I on my number 2?
Yeah, we're on our final.
This is just with a celeb. Like it's the new autograph, right?
It's true.
It's the new autograph, and I feel like some celebs are more so it's probably a little more annoying to ask to take than ask for an autograph. I'm trying to think.
I mean, possibly less time consuming.
Yeah, but like half of the people who are asking for it are people who like are like fumbling through their phone to like get to like the picture setting, and then like it doesn't come out good or something, and then like it's a big ordeal.
I've always felt like with celebrities, I'd rather just try to have a conversation.
I just say hi or something.
Yeah, like what's a great story? Like I gave them a pen and they signed their name on a picture. Fucking awesome.
Yeah, just like say hi. They're people. Yeah. All right, and then my number 1 is, it can be taken a couple ways. One is like if you just like at like a place, any like famous place, but I call it the actually look behind me selfie. But I like this the most when you're like sneaky, stealthy, trying to take a picture of something behind you that you don't want somebody to notice that you're taking a picture of. So you like do it like you're taking a selfie, and it's like somebody doing something stupid over your shoulder, and that's what the actual picture of. And that's why it's my favorite selfie, because it's not actually about the selfie.
I like that.
It's like the sly, like look at this guy is not wearing pants on the L. Like, so you take a selfie with like this guy behind you.
You also then have the unintentional thing happening in the background selfie, which I saw some
best possible scenario actually.
Okay, well I saw some great ones. The most famous one is when that girl, her phone is about to get hit by the ball at Fenway.
I've not
and
seen
you can see the ball just like right at her ear, essentially.
That's insane.
But during research of this, I saw several like, women trying to be sexy selfies where like their baby would crawl in the background. Like,
yes,
they're essentially mooning the camera, and then like you see a baby. That's pretty funny. Or like a grandmother.
Like somebody just in the background. It like ruins their whole vibe.
I believe they call that a fail. Selfie fail.
All right, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is most commonly done by NBA players, Floyd Mayweather, and rappers, and that is anywhere with large sums of cash.
Oh, specifically holding the cash to your ear like it's a phone.
Oh, yeah.
That might be the best selfie. Just like I don't know why. What are you talking to? on your giant wad of cash that's not actually a phone.
At the NFL rookie camp, they brought $1 million to show the players what it looked like.
Yeah, and Lance Stevenson instantly.
It was the NBA, and it totally backfired. All the guys were like, "This is amazing, money, cash, fuck yeah!"
And they all took like selfies with all the money.
And I think the NBA was like, "That was a terrible fucking idea. That was a terrible idea."
Yeah, the selfie with a ton of cash is a great one.
Like that's one that I probably will never get to do.
Like just
if I become a millionaire, I like don't see a circumstance where I go to the bank and I was like, "Can I withdraw like $1 million cash, please?"
I always want to do that. I'm going to do it this year for my fantasy football league is pay people out in ones, but go to like the bank and like get like $100 like rolls, like bound things of ones and pay them in those. I've never agreed to how I'm going to pay you.
Are you going to put them in a briefcase and just have like 2 stacks of $100 ones? You're like slide the briefcase over the table, open it.
This is for you.
This is for you. Does that look right?
I would, honestly, I'm not going to count it. I'm just going to weigh it because I know how much it should weigh. Because that's how you count money when you're dealing with large sums.
I do always love that though in the movies when there's like some illicit thing going on. The guy just like opens the briefcase and like, okay, cool.
The weighing thing is from I think it's Fast 5 when they like were tracking these numbers. Like, oh, that's how much $1 million in 20s weighs. Like, how did you know that?
Well, it's the same thing with like the exchange of cocaine. Like the guy puts his finger in and like tastes the coke, right? You don't know that that's the same coke in every single other kilo that you're getting in this massive shipment. Like if I'm the guy, I'm putting the good coke forward. I'm putting the good coke at the top.
Put your best foot forward, man, every time. I also want to know like how much cocaine have like narco cops done, just from like
just from like the fuck you, like, oh yeah, it's some good shit. It's some good shit, Escobar.
And they're always like in the movies. They're always like, "Oh, this is pure." Like, wait, hold on. How much cocaine have you done? Like that, you're like a cocaine reviewer. Like they always do that. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, they're like rubbing it on their teeth. Like, what are you doing, buddy? All right, I think this was I like this. It was the list was fine, but I kind of liked our ramblings a little more.
We had some good rambling. Same time, same place next week. We've been a little all over the place. Steve is selling and buying a house.
I'm in a weird state of flux right now. So,
and I too am. I sold the Beats by Dre headphones, and I'm hoping to buy a PlayStation 4. So we're both making major life changes.
Ooh, you're going PS4, huh?
That's what I'm hoping.
Not Xbox.
I've been a PS man, but
I always have to. I agree.
We'll see. We'll see.
It seems like the more adult thing.
Yeah, very adult.
It's very the more adult thing of the very juvenile things. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Whatever, interact with us on our Facebook page if you have anything to say, or you can tweet at us at First of the Worst, or email us firstoftheworst@gmail.com. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends any way you want. You could share it on Facebook. You could call them on the phone and tell them to listen to it. I don't care how you do it. Just share it. And and subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher and things like that. Thanks a lot.
Have a good weekend, guys.
All right, later.